So I'm really hoping the audio works this time. If it doesn't, I guess I'll just have to give up for now. So frustrating. Sorry for everyone who joined the first stream and couldn't hear me. I was trying to figure out why it wasn't working live and was not successful at that, obviously, so I did go offline. Now I'm trying OBS instead of Streamlabs, if anyone technically proficient is familiar with those two different applications. So there were a few things I was going to discuss and share, but I would love to wait until we get at least one chat message so I know I'm actually live. I've never okay, so I guess the audio is working. Kiwi, thanks for chiming in there. Man, that was frustrating. Yeah, I mean, everything... this seems like it's maybe a little loud. Everything was working okay on my end. I could see like the mic signal moving up and down as like it was capturing my voice, but for some reason it wasn't going to the stream. Anyway, thanks, Kiwi. Hopefully the people who tuned in before, because we were starting to get a decent crowd, do make their way back. Be disappointing if I don't see Danny and those guys again. Anyway, I guess I will just get started since we have people here. And yeah, clearly I was just joking a bit with the title of the stream. I'm really not panicked at all. Obviously, we had a 12% drop today in the stock. Let me move my OBS over here. My lack of live streaming skills is clearly coming through. Man. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so stock dropped 12.17% today, which equates to, you know, a pretty sizable chunk of Rocket Lab's market cap, and a lot of people seem to be getting very worried. I got a lot of messages on Twitter about it and stuff like that from a few people. Saw a lot of comments saying like how horrible it was that, you know, Peter was selling some shares and this is the end. Some people saying they thought this might mean Neutron is not going well, and I kind of chuckled a little bit at that. I didn't agree with that one at all. If you're curious, this is the SEC form we got showing that he was selling shares. 30, basically, how many? Yeah. A solid amount here. Where was the... So this came to just under 7% of Peter's overall holdings in Rocket Lab. I believe it was something in the $20 million range that he was selling. Obviously, you know, not a huge amount of his holdings. It's not tiny. And, you know, it's been public now since 2021. Coming on like 3 years or something like that, 2 years. He hasn't really had any major sales since the SPAC. We've seen several from Adam, the CFO, and I do believe, according to Simply Wall Street here, like a solid portion of his CEO compensation is in stock. So only 51% of his take-home pay is actually cash. The rest is in, you know, stock and options and bonuses. I wouldn't be surprised if the majority of those bonuses are stock. So a lot of what he's making is coming from the stock, right? I mean, obviously 800 grand would be nice for a lot of us, but I really don't have a ton of problems with him selling some shares and, doing whatever he wants with it. My thoughts on this whole money value now versus the future have kind of changed lately. I used to think like, yeah, hi, Cyberface. Yeah, exactly. I did look at that as well as Danny and saw he did, or sorry, not Danny. Yeah, it is Danny. He received the same amount on the SPAC, and he's just kind of liquidating that. So he's held it for quite a while. Who knows what he wants to do with it? But this is kind of leading into my philosophy on investing and the time value of money. And a lot of people saying, well, if he doesn't, if he really believes in the company, then he wouldn't be selling. And I do think that's not necessarily true. See, now I'm checking. Danny, I'm glad you made it back. Sorry about that. We went over to a different application here, and I haven't used it before, so little uncomfortable. I don't get to see the comments over on the side. But anyway, I used to think, if you believe in an investment, why would you ever sell it? And that kind of goes to how I started to build up my investment portfolio when I was younger. I basically saved every penny. I, didn't travel as much as I could have. I stayed home longer than I needed to in order to save and really build up the investment portfolio. And while I do think that turned out very well for me, because obviously you get that snowball effect and money compounding on money, there is always an opportunity cost to not selling that shares. Like there's things you could do with it. And we can't take it with us. So even if you do believe the stock is worth $25 in 5 years and today it's like $6 or whatever it was when he sold it, you can't take it with you. If you want to do something nice for your family, maybe he's buying a mansion, who knows. I don't hold it against him at all. Still a small portion of his shares. And I'm really invested in the underlying company and just making sure that they perform well, and nothing at all has changed in the underlying company. We even just saw the new contract for several new haste launches just got announced here. So in terms of the underlying, everything is executing well. He still has a large number of shares in the company, second largest shareholder behind, where was it here? Venture capital firm. He's was at least sitting at 11.29% of the overall company, 329 million. I think he sold 30. So, still a lot of shares in the company, not a lot of concerns there. Just curious what you guys have to say. Yeah, he does get paid, Niels, but again, like almost half of his overall salary is in bonuses and stock and options. So only 58% of his salary, from what I can see here, is actually cash. And yeah, no, I think it... yeah, it could be there's like some strategic, selling when you know that good news is coming to try and offset that. And, I went through this with holding some Tesla stock when Elon Musk was selling, and it did drop briefly. Obviously, people, I think they really overreact about it. And eventually it did bounce back to where it was before and beyond even. So, I think it's a short-term speed bump more than anything. Yeah, no, I do believe... Yeah, I don't know if you're up late, Niels. Absolutely no reason to panic. I was just joking around here. Wanted to just hang out with you guys and talk. Yeah, I would think he would have to schedule it again. I never claimed to be an expert on everything related to this. We do have the SEC form. Did receive it through the merger when they went public via SPAC back in August 25th, 2021. And on the NASDAQ. Yeah, about between 6 and 7% of his overall holdings. And do remember, like, he will continue to probably receive stock as a part of his compensation. So it's, who knows what he wants to buy it for. Everyone has use it for. Everyone has their own personal life. Everyone has their own family situation. I never really hold it against anyone selling a stock I still own, because everyone's situation is always different. And yeah, he is still holding the vast majority. How are you guys doing today? Anyone buying this dip? Do you think it's going to drop further? Are you freaking out and selling over there, like I saw a few people on Twitter getting nervous? You bought calls in the drop. That's an interesting strategy. I do find that when you have these moves, a lot of the time the drop is a little overdone, and you do have a bit of a bounce back the next day. So especially the fact that we just got these news around this 4-contract haste, or 4-launch haste contract with Leidos, could do well for you. But yeah, CPI report tomorrow. You only buy on Fridays. That's an interesting philosophy. I'm curious what the reasoning is behind that. Personally, I just buy whenever it seems like a good time to buy. So have you ever DCA into Rocket Lab? So I guess you're averaging up at this point at Social, which is fine if you still believe in the company. I would never rule out buying more shares. Certainly consider it. I think I may have some Amazon shares still I was thinking about getting out of. So let's see if we have any info on... you just have a schedule. Well, I guess that's good because you can be disciplined and, regular about it. I used to have a similar schedule when I was buying index funds and ETFs when I first got into investing, and I was just buying ETFs. So I had a schedule. I was afraid to put all my money in at once because I was like, what if it's right before a big drop? So then I had a schedule, like every month I was going to put in a chunk of my capital until I was fully invested. This was years and years ago. Yeah, I'm pretty fully allocated right now as well, unless I sell some other holdings. If it does continue to drop, and I don't know that it will, I don't really expect it to, but again, macro and CPI could play a huge factor. Yeah, exactly. Keeps you honest. Keeps the emotion out of it, I think, as well, which can be very important for some of us. I know we've all... And why did I buy then? Why didn't I buy then? But if you just have a system, sometimes that's for the best. So the same customer, they did launch that first Haste Mission 4 on June 17th. And clearly, I think they're pretty happy with how it went. Don't see anything about scheduling, but they're usually pretty secretive about these Haste launches. And yeah, we have another launch coming up in a couple weeks, I believe, for Capella Space as well. So still chugging along here. The one nice thing about Streamlabs OBS is I could at least see the viewers and stuff like that. Oh well. Anyway, just a quick video checking in, seeing if anyone was super worried about it and had any thoughts. But it seems like we're all in the same boat here. Just kind of fine with it, not too worried. If he continued to sell in set amounts and it looked like he was trying to unload all of his shares, then I would start to maybe get a little nervous. But I don't think a sale like this is a sign that he lacks confidence in the company. It's just whatever his circumstances may be. And I think that's kind of one of the downsides of being CEO of a big company, is you have all these people looking at your private financial information. I mean, I just pull up a website, I can see how much he's making and all this kind of stuff. But you know what? I guess that's goes with the territory of being a public figure and being extremely successful. So, yeah. I'm pretty sure, if anything, you're more bullish. So that's an interesting take. Well, perhaps just because the stock is cheaper, more bullish to add more. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if it drops further, I could see looking at buying calls as well. Yeah, I haven't done a lot of trades lately, which is probably good, but at the same time, I have a lot of fun doing it, and I like to share my results in videos and stuff like that, so it's made it a little bit less exciting for viewers. You can get invited into the... Oh, you think he's going to start focusing on philanthropy more? Yeah, that could be. You don't think he just wants a nice yacht like Jeff? Yeah, I'm sure, yeah. You know, the guy has worked extremely hard on this company for so many years. Like, if he wants to take out a small portion and, do something else with it, whether it's charitable donations or, improving the situation of his family, you don't know. I really can't hold it against him. I don't think anyone should, and I don't think it's any reason to panic. Is it already going up in the after hours? Not seeing much here, but maybe CNBC has more info. Looks like your calls are doing pretty good then, at least so far. Obviously, you can never count on the after hours in too much detail, but yeah, up 3.5%. That's a pretty solid jump. So you might you might make a decent chunk of change on your calls. Anyway, I didn't really have a lot to talk about. I just felt like coming online, saying hi to you guys in real time. If there's any other topics anyone else wants to discuss, you can bring it up now. Otherwise, I might just call it a video, just a quick live stream to discuss the news and talk with you guys, see how everyone else is taking it. Because, yeah, I did see some panicking out there, and I was like, whoa, like, let's calm down here, people. That's interesting. I didn't even think about it from that point of view, Cyberface. Yeah, if you get invited to exclusive events, you can network, meet people who have access to a ton of capital, clearly. So, yep, no problem, Social. Thanks so much for tuning in. When do I think Starship will launch? Are you talking about like the next test launch? I'm probably not the right person to ask on that. There's a lot of Starship channels that are dedicated to just that. My understanding is it's going to be a couple weeks. Dropped 100 to... it all helps, yeah. If sometimes if you see a drop and you're trying to get into it, it's not a bad time to add, yeah. But yeah, maybe a couple weeks for Starship, I was thinking. I'll definitely be watching that launch. It could be fun. And, yeah, I guess that's about it. When will Starship... I doubt Starship's test launch will affect Rocket Lab's stock price. Yeah, no problem, guys. Yeah, I don't know. You guys let me know your thoughts as well. If you think Starship getting a launch off successfully will affect Rocket Lab's stock price. I don't tend to think so. And it could even put a little bit more attention on launch companies in general, people looking at, oh, this is super cool. I can't invest in them because they're a private company. Is there anyone else I can invest in? Oh, look, Rocket Lab is very similar. But you never know. It'll be fun to watch for sure. I will definitely be watching that one with all you guys. Anyway, I think I'm going to call it. Thank you guys for tuning in with me. I appreciate it very much. Zeros. Yeah, exactly. When Musk was raising funds for Twitter. I would have to look at their relative market caps. I want to say no, Rocket Lab could not buy Redwire, or at least it would be extremely dilutive. So Rocket Lab, we're looking at 2.5, call it billion. Redwire, yeah. Oh, we're still with Rocket Lab here. Redwire did raise fund. Oh, sorry, Redwire is a lot smaller than I realized. We're only talking 200 million. I guess theoretically they could. I wouldn't want it all to come out of their balance sheet, like their cash balance, so they'd probably have to do some sort of a stock deal. So I don't think I would be thrilled with that, especially when they're spending so much money on Neutron. I would just like to see the cash balance stay as high as possible. And, you know, I invest in Rocket Lab because I like Rocket Lab. If it gets diluted to buy Redwire, I'm like, well, if I really wanted Redwire, I could have bought Redwire shares. It could be. You know, Redwire does at least have revenues. They're not in a situation like a Momentous or a Astra, and but they did shore up their balance sheet just recently as well. In terms of adding to my position, again, I don't have any cash free unless I sell anything, and I've thought about it. But for now, I've just been holding. If it drops significantly lower, I might do something for fun, like buying calls, or I would quite often maybe sell puts when it seems cheap to try and generate some income that way. But yeah, I think because I did buy pretty heavy, at least for me, back when it was a bit lower, I'm okay with holding. But I would never rule out adding more shares, especially if there's another company I suddenly want to get out of. And I have been trying to reduce the number of companies in my portfolio, which I actually have done quite a bit. And a lot of those companies I did sell, I put the proceeds into Rocket Lab. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I think I'm going to call it a stream. Glad to see no one's too worried. I will have a new video for you very shortly. I actually just filmed a Space Stock News update video just yesterday, and it's already way out of date, unfortunately. Really got to release these things like right as soon as I film them because there's so much news happening so often. That'll get released tomorrow. If you're watching this on a replay or even live and you're not subscribed, I hope you'll consider doing that. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.